Hi, this is Eileen, and we're Bruce and Eileen from Sail Away with Bruce and Eileen. I was so excited when our cruise finally pulled into Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. It was the fourth port on our NCL GEM New England Canada tour.
Yes, we had booked the ultimate Anne of Green Gables experience shore excursion through NCL. The tour included visits to the Anne of Green Gables Museum in Park Corner and the old farm site in Cavendish that inspired Lucy Maud Montgomery's first novel.
And I am a super fan. I've read almost all of her books. I've got them on my Kindle. I should say read and reread and reread. And also we watched the televised miniseries, of course, which I absolutely loved.
Since Eileen is such a fan, I'm going to let her share her experiences of the tour.
Okay, let's go. Come join us.
We are Sail Away with Bruce and Eileen, a retired couple that loves to cruise. Come with us as we travel the seas and explore new sights and destinations. The first stop on our tour was the Anne of Green Gables Museum, located in Park Corner, about a 30-minute bus ride from Charlottetown through rolling countryside. The farmhouse located here was built in 1872 by the authors Aunt Annie and Uncle John Campbell and is now called Silverbush. It was opened in 1972 as the Anne of Green Gables Museum. Our bus was met by a delightful lady, a descendant of the Campbells, who still own and operate the museum. We entered the museum through the old kitchen with a wood fire stove, just like when the author would visit. The museum contains artifacts from Montgomery's life and from the books that she wrote, including Anne's enchanted bookcase. The author was married in front of the fireplace in the parlor here, and the same organ that was used is still here today. The guide said that they still do have weddings there, so if you're a kindred spirit with Anne, you could also be married here. Upstairs in the museum, you can visit the author's own little bedroom she stayed in when she came to visit. Outside of the museum, you can walk around the grounds. Unfortunately, it was a windy and blustery day when we were there, and we didn't get to enjoy it quite as much. But while you're out there, you can catch a glimpse of Anne's famous Lake of Shining Waters. In the first Anne of Green Gables book, she renamed this pond, originally named Barry's Pond, which was far too sensible of a name for the imaginative Anne. Next door to the farmhouse is a gift shop with products designed by the Campbells and island keepsakes. There's also the opportunity to meet the character of Anne and get a picture with her, along with a sample of raspberry cordial. A famous incident in the first book is when Anne invites her best friend over for tea and accidentally serves her currant wine instead, with tragic results. The raspberry cordial I had a sip of was, however, definitely of the non-alcoholic kind. On our way to our final stop on the tour, we passed the author's Cavendish home, which was not open nor included on our tour. It was here that she was raised by her grandparents and spent most of her first 37 years. Our final stop was the Green Gables Heritage Place, part of the Lucy Maud Montgomery National Historic Site. It includes the Green Gables Visitor Center, the Green Gables House, and the trails at Green Gables. The farmstead was the home of Montgomery's cousins, and though she never lived here, was the inspiration for the setting of Green Gables, where Montgomery imagined Anne Shirley finding her home. Although the house is not the real home of the fictional characters, Anne, Marilla, and Matthew, it is a faithful representation of what Anne's world might have looked like. We enter the house through the hallway and step into the parlor, which was used just for important guests, like the minister. It wasn't a room for Anne to use for entertaining, however. The dining room was for special guests, and that was where Anne entertained her bosom buddy, Diana, for the tea that had such disastrous results. The next room is Matthew's room with his Sunday best coat and hat. He had a heart condition which made climbing stairs difficult. The dairy porch, which was one of 2 rooms right off the kitchen, was used for making butter or cheese, and it's where Anne would have helped Marilla with her chores. The kitchen is the biggest space and the warmest in the house. All of the regular meals would be eaten here. The pantry is the second room off the kitchen, and that was for storing food, clean dishes, and the like. We now head up to Anne's room in the east gable. This was made a lot more cheerful after her arrival. The next room down the hall is the guest room, reserved exclusively for visitors. Across the hall is Marilla's room, which is very sensibly furnished. Next to Marilla's room is the sewing room, and very important because almost all the clothes at that time were handmade. You see there a treadle sewing machine, a spinning wheel, and what is called an umbrella swift. The swift, so named because it looks like the inside of an umbrella, was used to wind yarn into a ball to be used for knitting. The final room upstairs is the room for the hired hand. After that, we head downstairs and get ready for our adventure outside. Outside of the house are lovely grounds to explore. Lucy Maud Montgomery deeply appreciated being outside and wrote about her time in the fields and woodlands surrounding the house. That's where she imagined stories and poems as she walked along the trails and shared them with millions of readers. We got a chance to walk around one of the trails. It was named the Haunted Wood Trail, and Anne just loved to be there in the story. It was her place of delight and where her own imaginings took over. And it's also easy to see how this real-life place inspired the author. We finished our tour in the visitor center before heading back to the ship. The visitor center included displays on Lucy Maud Montgomery's life and writings, and even a Lego replica of the farmstead. My biggest surprise was to learn how huge of a hit Anne of Green Gables was in Japan, and that many Japanese couples have come to Prince Edward Island to tie the knot. Anne has universal appeal and shows women everywhere that they can dream and be what they want.
Well, we thoroughly enjoyed our tour, but I did not consider it the ultimate tour.
Our main disappointment was a tour guide who gave a running narrative about agriculture and development on Prince Edward Island, but gave no background on Lucy Maud Montgomery. We were basically just dropped off at the sites to discover on our own.
I certainly would have appreciated at least a heads up or an idea of what we'd be experiencing at each site, because we did have limited time, and that would have just been so much better.
It would have been nice if the tour guide was a biggest fan of Lucy Maud Montgomery and her works as Eileen.
Thanks for joining us. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.
Right.